My journey to KU was kind of a roundabout story. So when I was in 10th grade in high school, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do for a career yet, but I knew I wanted something that revolved around writing, actually. I had a speaker come into my 10th grade class, and she was a social media manager, which at the time was a position I hadn't really heard of. She said something that stuck with me all of these years and shaped where I went from there. And that was, I love my job because I get to express myself writing creatively and professionally every day. And for me, that was everything I wanted. So I started to look at colleges where I could piece together a degree in digital communications, social media, something along those lines. And I decided to go to Hack for the first 2 years before transferring. I picked Kutztown as my transfer school because I liked their communications department. But right as I was coming in, they announced their new social media program, and I felt like it was perfect, it was a sign, and I was definitely going there. So I'm very happy I ended up here, and the program is everything I could have imagined and more. So in the College of Business, my first year on campus here, I took entrepreneurship, and I got to work with Dr. Sigmund. The main project in that class was come up with a business idea, which makes sense for entrepreneurship. And he and I got to talk a lot about the business I was working on, because for me it wasn't fictitious. This was a business that I had started back in my 10th grade year of high school, and then I've grown it since then. So he was so wonderful to work with because he knew he was giving me real world advice and not just advice for a project. So a lot of the faculty here have been wonderful in helping me progress, not just as a student, but as an entrepreneur. In high school, I feel like it's the teacher's job to kind of help guide you on a path that you haven't quite decided yet. And here at college, professors are more willing to say, okay, you know what you want to do, let's figure out the steps to help you get there. And that's been really wonderful. So I ended up working with Professor Sigmund a lot throughout my time here, even after I took his class. So coming back this year, if I ever had a question about my e-commerce class or just something involved with my business, I would email him and he would say, come into my office, we're better talking in person, give me a handshake, and we would talk for a while. So when I started in Professor Sigmund's class, I worked on my business idea and I was really happy with the end result. It gave me a really clear structure and a business plan that I hadn't fully mapped out on my own. So come this fall, there was an advertisement about the business idea competition within the College of Business. And I was really interested in entering just to see how far I could take it and how well I knew my own information. So I entered the competition, I wrote out my application, and I was accepted into the final round. I was super, super nervous. I had to prepare a 5-minute speech and a PowerPoint to go along with it. Of course, I was worried about tech issues and all of this other stuff and making it happen. And then when I got to the competition, I was the last person to go, which made me extra nervous. And I got up there, I said my speech, and think about it kind of like a Shark Tank scenario. You're sitting there, you're giving your speech, and there's 5 judges in front of you. And then once you're done your speech, they get to ask you random questions, rapid fire, and you just have to know what to say off the top of your head. So in the end, they announced my name that I had won first place, and I was in shock. And I didn't get up at first, I didn't know how to react because I couldn't believe it. You know, my business is a marketing agency, and I thought that maybe it was kind of like a cop-out that my business was about business, but I felt confident in how I pitched it and capable of moving forward with it, so it was an honor to win. It's really kind of surreal to think about how far it's come and how much it's grown in just the short time from 10th grade to my senior year in college. 10th grade me was piling up notebooks with all of these different ideas and like, oh, I could start a blog and I need to network with these people. And I remember just running around and telling my friends, I'm gonna start a business. I promise you I'm gonna start a business. And they're like, okay, that's wonderful, good for you. And then I'm here and I'm entering competitions and I get to work with clients when I'm not doing schoolwork. I'm on Zoom calls long before Zoom was a thing, thanks to the pandemic. And you know, I get to work with clients around the world in Spain and London and then Florida and California. It's amazing to actually have an impact on other people's lives and to get paid for something that I made out of thin air.